First, it needs to be stated that if you were to legalize marijuana, you would obviously gain money in taxes from selling the bud. The bud is the flower from the non-pollinated marijuana plant. I'm going to skip this for the most part because I feel that any money gathered from the bud would be a tiny amount compared to how much potential tax money the hemp industry could make. The only thing I will state is that I feel if we were to legalize it and tax it, then it should be done in such a way that you are free to grow it yourself, smoke it yourself, and you are also free to create a company to sell it in a store. I don't feel that there should be a limit on the amount some person can grow, because I feel that if we turn it into an industry, the extras that come from growing the plant to smoke the bud can be used to create more supplies for the industry. Coming back to the hemp industry itself and why this could be the salvation to the American economy. As stated before, hemp has some unique properties, such as it can be turned into biodiesel and building materials. Just these two aspects of the hemp industry has a chance to impact the economy in an almost unimaginable way. According to my knowledge, most of what we use gas on is shipping. Most of the shipping is done with diesel. And to point out the obvious, if you were to grow your own diesel, diesel would be cheaper. If diesel was cheaper, shipping would be cheaper. If shipping was cheaper, everything would be cheaper, which means you will have more money in your pocket to buy more things. It could also change our current food industry. I have heard most of what a farmer spends money on is fuel. So not only will farming hemp help the farming industry by allowing farmers to have a crop they can grow when they can't grow anything else, but it will also give any farmer the ability to grow their own fuel, which could lower food prices. On almost any topic I have thought about, this industry could become a self-feeding industry, meaning that most of the things needed to exploit the product can be made from the product. I also feel that with the new money that the government would be making and saving, we can create rebates for driving the emerging economy towards complete self-sufficiency. I can imagine this industry paving and financing the way toward an America that produces its own electricity, using green energy like tidal, geothermal, or theoretically just from growing hemp. But going further than that, I see an America that not only produces its own energy, but produces more energy than it needs. Can you imagine an America that exporting electricity cheaply? Hemp can also be turned into a biodegradable plastic. I feel if we take this simple fact, we can start something that I call a circular system. I see we could start a system where a farmer sells hemp to a person it and turns it into plastic products, while at the same time adding a thin strip of metal. When the plastic product had been used, it could simply be thrown away. The trash can be ran through a conveyor belt with a giant magnet so that the metal will be picked up. And then it can be thrown into water so that the plastic floats. The metal can be recycled. The plastic can be turned into mulch, which can be sold back to the farmer, which he could use to fertilize more hemp, which can be turned into more plastic. At this time, I would like to stop the video, but before I do, I would like to state the fact that smoking marijuana before your brain fully develops does have negative effects on how you develop, specifically in memory and mood. I would like to thank you for taking the time to listen, and again would like to challenge anyone to point out any flaw in my line of thinking. I would also like to invite everyone to expand or refine my knowledge of anything I have talked about. Depending on how much activity this gets, I would very much like to further expand on the almost infinite possibilities of hemp and weed.